I guess it's just another day at the office for Kratos. God of War 2 does what God of War did, only possibly even better. Kratos, the god of fucking murdering everything in sight, returns in the epic sequel to his conquest of Ares. God of War 2 has more bloodshed, more myth, and perhaps the dumbest deities in video games. Why? Because who the fuck messes with Kratos when he's already slaughtered the fucking God of War? It's time to spill some blood, rip some guts, and slit some throats. God of War 2, everybody! So the game basically picks up after the end of God of War.
However, Kratos soon found himself alone on Olympus, shunned by his fellow gods. But Kratos had no need for the love of petty gods. He had found a new family in the warriors of Sparta, gaining solace from his past in the carnage of battle.
My lord, Kratos! Another city is ready to fall! Soon all shall know the glory of Sparta!
Enough, Kratos! With every city you destroy, the wrath of Olympus grows.
Bullshit. Athena, if the gods of Olympus really were that pissed at Kratos for his rampage across Greece, you would have thought they would have sent another mortal to go find some ancient artifact to kill him with, like you did with Ares. Fine, whatever. Kratos, in his godly form, descends from Olympus to the city of Rhodes and stomps around the place like he's Godzilla in Tokyo. However, Athena appears and takes Kratos' godly powers and deposits them into the Colossus of Rhodes. The giant monstrosity comes to life and begins tearing the city apart to kill Kratos while he's vulnerable. Good plan, Athena. Just stop the giant Kratos from possibly killing thousands in his conquest of the city of Rhodes, and give his godly powers to a giant bronze behemoth who will definitely kill thousands as he destroys the entire city, getting to Kratos, and Kratos kills just as many, getting to the Colossus. You're supposed to be the goddess of wisdom! As Kratos races across Rhodes to defeat the Colossus, Zeus sends the Blade of Olympus down to help him destroy the monster. Kratos drains the remnants of his godly powers into the blade and climbs inside the Colossus, where he draws the powers he lost into the blade itself, before ultimately destroying the monster. However, the dying behemoth crushes Kratos with one last bitch slap, rendering the now mortal Kratos near death. However, before he can recover his godly powers from the blade, it is revealed Athena is Zeus in disguise. Well, that explains why the plan to kill Kratos with the Colossus was so fucking stupid. Zeus then stabs Kratos with the blade and he's dragged down into Hades. The only way he's been killed in both these games is by being stabbed, which is rather ironic for the God of War. It's at this point in God of War when the narrator reveals himself to be an actual character. Gaia, Titan of the Earth. With her powers, she heals Kratos' wounds and returns him to the land of the living. As Kratos returns, he finds all of his fellow Spartan warriors dead, save one, whom he sends back to Sparta. Kratos then takes what can only be described as a fire-winged Pegasus to the prison of the Rockbiter from the Neverending Story, where the Pegasus is trapped.
They look like big, good, strong hands, don't they?
On the way to discover some way to release the beast, Kratos comes across another imprisoned Titan, Prometheus, who took fire from Olympus and gave it to mortals. Prometheus pleads Kratos to free him from his torment and taint the fires of Zeus with his ashes. After acquiring the artifact Typhon's Bane, he does that and burns Prometheus to death. Remember when I said that Kratos was the cause of half the deaths in these games? Now we're getting there. Freeing the Pegasus, Kratos takes it to the Island of Creation, where the Sisters of Fate weave the destinies of all. mortal, god, and titan alike. Pegasus deposits Kratos on the cliffs of Lachesis, which is on the other side of the great 50-mile chasm, which is very confusing because there is a giant 50-foot gap that Kratos now has to leap across. In order to reach the island of creation proper, Kratos releases the seeds of time and whips them like a bitch in a brothel. Before he advances, he's given the last of Kronos' magic stored in the backs of one of the steeds. Damn, Kronos, if you want to hide something like that, you put my stuffing it in the closet to shame. Where the fuck do you hide your porn? The fucking moon? Kratos moves onto the island of creation proper and comes across the barbarian king he killed after he sold his soul to Ares. The barbarian king uses that hammer that he beat Kratos with to summon spirits of the dead. And guess who one of those spirits is?
No! Not you again!
Oh, come on. Really, this is little more than a fucking joke now. Kratos swipes the barbarian's hammer and uses it to bludgeon the king to death. As Kratos advances further, he comes across another great chasm barring his advance. Kratos is then interrupted, however, by the arrival of Icarus, whose wings Kratos attempts to steal for his own. The resulting tussle sends the two plummeting down to the depths of the earth, where Kratos lands on the Titan Atlas. After a brief discussion, Atlas lifts Kratos back up to the island of creation. He proceeds to open the gateway to the Temple of the Fates by unleashing the wings of a giant phoenix statue. However, as he attempts to revive the Fates' pet phoenix, he is blocked by an unseen figure. The unknowing Kratos kills the opponent before it is revealed he is the Spartan he sent home from Rhodes. I know this is probably going to be in bad taste, but I think this is probably the only time I will ever get away with this. Should have gone to Specsavers. The Spartan tells Kratos that he is at the island to return to the moment before Zeus destroyed Sparta. Wait, hold on 1 fucking minute. This Spartan, right? He's 100% human, right? I mean, he's just a guy with a sword and shield. Why isn't the game about him? I mean, I know Kratos is the god of war, the central theme of vengeance is all about him getting his revenge against the gods of Olympus, but this Temple of the Fates, getting this far, the Spartan will have had to fight an entire army of Minotaurs, Gorgons, Cyclopses, Cerberuses, whatever, have to cross 2 giant chasms, solve God knows how many puzzles, and apart from anything else, the island of creation is in the middle of fucking nowhere. There's no landmarks or anything, so he's done this all on his own. Fuck Kratos, I want to know this guy's story. I mean, he must be a fucking tank. Because apart from anything else, Kratos has had his hand held all the way by the gods. The Spartan here, he has done the entire journey Kratos has done with no magic, no gods, and no titans. He's a fucking badass, is all I've got to say. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating a little because Kratos does know how to take a stab wound to the stomach. The Spartan dies and, in anger, Kratos murders a kraken. Yeah, because, you know, that's a typical sort of thing when you do when you're that angry. I mean, I stub my toe, I kick a puppy. Kratos climbs onto the back of a phoenix and uses it to fly to the Temple of the Fates. As he enters the temple, he battles with Atropos and Lachesis. The two sisters attempt to rewrite history and kill Kratos during his battle with Ares. Kratos, however, murders both of them and moves on to the Loom Chamber, where he slaughters the third sister, Clotho, before travelling back to the moment Zeus killed him. Thus leading us to the absolute worst boss battle ever. So, if you remember, in my God of War review, I talked about how the quick time events were a pain in the ass with boss battles, where if you mess up once, you will end up dead, and you will have to fight the boss from scratch. This is the boss battle I was talking about. So yeah, this really wasn't the best boss fight I've ever experienced. So, just as Kratos is about to kill Zeus, Athena jumps on the blade instead. Okay, I know this move is supposed to show Athena's loyalty to Zeus, but she's a goddess of wisdom and battle strategy. Surely she could have come up with another way of saving Zeus from being stabbed by Kratos, which doesn't involve her fucking dying. Because that just shows her stupidity more than anything else. Athena reveals to Kratos in her dying breath that Kratos is Zeus's son, and that he betrayed Kratos so that he would never conquer and destroy Olympus, much the same Zeus did to his father Kronos. Well then why the fuck did Zeus let Athena turn him into a god in the first place? Kratos then uses the power of the Fates to go back to the end of the Great War between the Titans and the gods. With his powers he brings the Titans to the present. As a giant storm Olympus, Kratos declares war against Zeus and concludes God of War 2. And that's God of War 2, everybody. Is it as good as the original? Damn right it is. While some of the logic is lost on me, I have to admit this game did have a fucking brilliant story and came up with an excellent way to turn the complete ending of God of War into a believable opening to the sequel. While it does seem to rehash the Ender Temple receive godly powers kill God formula of God of War, it has some new enough elements to make it refreshing and entertaining. It's a little unconvincing how they simply drop the bomb in the last 30 seconds that Kratos is a demigod, but it does make it a little more believable, seeing as how Kratos is so fucking ripped. It is kind of clever. Now, Santa Monica have taken some liberties with the mythology of ancient Greece. It's also clear they know their stuff, and that shows in their work. All in all, if you enjoyed God of War, you'll definitely enjoy its sequel. While it does appear on face value to be more of the same, it's a different beast entirely, and with that in mind, God of War 2 receives a dark rating of 81.
Zeus, your son has returned! I bring the destruction of Olympus!
But, as always, if you have a suggestion for my next review, please drop it in the comment section below, or wherever YouTubers put it now. Please leave me a tweet on Twitter, share it with me on Google+, and here comes the whoring out part. Do your bit to help the channel grow, and share this video with everyone you know, and make sure everyone knows about it, because I sure as hell can't. But as always, I've been Darkest101. You have been watching Darkest101 Reviews. Thanks for watching. Good night, YouTube.